CNBC TV 18 and India Bonds presents Bond Street.
Hello and welcome to Bond Street. Joining us on the show today is Nishant Kumar. He's Managing Director, Head of Asia Investments, GuarantCo, and Head of Coverage, Asia PIDG as well. Nishant, thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you.
First of all, you operate out of various countries, really, and you've been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
What is it and how has the journey been till time?
No, it's been really fantastic. Look, when we were set up back in 2005 and we are funded by 7 of the G12 governments, and the mandate, one of the key mandate given to us was to crowd in private sector investors on capital market to help develop local capital markets in countries which are lower income, lower middle income and fragile and conflict affected states out of Africa, Southeast Asia and the Pacific. So yeah, I mean, I can proudly say that to date we have underwritten more than $1.8 billion of guarantees, which has mobilized roughly $6 to $7 billion of private sector capital into some of the most exciting but also challenging geographies across Africa and Asia. So yeah, all
exciting journey, would you say?
Indeed, indeed.
Nishant, you also make infrastructure projects safer or more attractive for private investors. How do you do that?
So we have a product which, as I alluded to, called credit guarantee, and that's contractual, on-demand, unconditional, irrevocable guarantee. So the key difference between this and credit insurance is if there is a default by the borrower, no questions asked, we make the investor whole or the lender whole, and then we step into the shoes of the lender, unlike a credit insurance, which is a conditional product. So you first need to establish loss and wait for several months, and then you get your money back. That's not the case. So we de-risk the investors, the banks, the financial institutions. And that is how we enable those institutions to provide financing on a sustainable long-term basis to sustainable infrastructure transactions. Yeah.
Infrastructure usually is huge projects led by bank and public institutions therein. Where do you get in? How would you make it attractive, easy to invest for retail?
Look, excellent question. And, we take pride in crowding in private sector, not crowding out. So if there is no need for an institution like GuarantCo, we simply do not participate in the transaction. We don't need to do every transaction. Where we see there is a strong additionality angle, which is where our participation would de-risk the project and lower the funding cost or debt financing cost for the borrower, there we would actually get into those transactions and also help bring in those institutional investors who would otherwise not participate in those transactions. So now that works very well with institutional investors. So that should also work very well with retail investors, because at the end of the day, retail investors should also be able to participate in these kind of instruments, which are high credit, but also high impact and provides reasonable rate of return.
You based out of Singapore, you just told me, and you listed out a list of countries which you oversee. So when you look at India, what is the longer term vision for here? And how are you looking at India vis-a-vis various other Asian countries that you're overseeing?
Oh, I'm excited. I mean, not because I come from India, but purely speaking from business sense and where I'm sat there in Singapore, every third finance professional I talk to or interact with in the country or the city state, I tell you, people are talking about India in some capacity or the other, right? There's huge excitement. And the excitement is towards adding new financing, additional financing to help country achieve its net zero ambition, which the Honorable Prime Minister has committed to. So, we, in fact, in November last year, we conducted a debt capital market event in collaboration with the National Stock Exchange, where we committed to deploying at least $300 million of guarantees, which would enable at least $500 to $600 million of debt financing over the next 2 to 2.5 years. So for an institution which has underwritten 1.8 billion guarantees to commit, this is a significant commitment for us in the country. Now, where do I see country vis-a-vis some of the other markets? I don't see it to be vastly different, but at the same time, there are certain gaps, there are certain inefficiencies in the market.
Okay.
So, which is especially on institutional investors, the insurance companies, the pension funds, or debt funds or infrastructure debt funds, providing sustainable longer-term financing to infrastructure asset owners, right? Infrastructure need to be boring. Need to be boring, 15, 20-year financing. That's how, it doesn't need, AI is exciting, not infrastructure. And that's what we help de-risk those projects, and we help make it boring. Let's say that.
All right. So when we talk about infrastructure, and there is various areas within that, you have power, transport, water, climate-related infrastructure, etc. So when it comes to India specifically, what sectors are you more looking at with interest?
So climate, helping develop local debt capital markets, and third is financial inclusion / gender empowerment, which is a strong area of focus for us over next few years in India.
Also, over the years, you've moved on from just about supporting individual products to backing group of projects.
Yes.
Why has that happened? What is your strength therein?
So this is just a natural progression, right? Because, transaction risk is one risk, but then you help not only diversify the risk, but also cross-collateralize the risk. When you do a group of transactions and you club them under one umbrella to help them raise financing. So it is a natural progression for us to achieve that.
CNBC TV 18 and India Bonds presents Bond Street.
Investments in debt securities, municipal debt securities, securitized debt instruments are subject to risks including delay and/or default in payment. Read all the offer-related documents carefully.